there seems to be a lot of blame directed at the politicians, but were they the only people who should defend this constitution? If at all it's been defied and defiled, it's because other institutions have allowed it to happen. Now, which are these institutions we're looking at? Is it the judiciary? Is it these other independent offices or independent commissions? Who is to blame beyond the politicians?
First of all, because I don't want us to trivialize the issue, the most important political positions under our constitutions are actually held by politicians. The president, who is the head of state and head of government under the constitution, is a politician. The speakers are politicians. The people who make laws are elected as politicians. So that because government is a political reality, so you cannot be able to divorce entirely the issue of politicians from a vehicle that is essentially a political vehicle. And in fact, I believe you can remember, I don't know whether you can, but Barack Obama, when he was senator, 2006, he came to Kenya, and I believe he was speaking at Taifa Hall. And I remember him saying that the president, if the president of a country succeeds, the country succeeds. If he fails, the country fails. So that failures, the same way they say fish rots from the head, it is the same way that if the president is a danda, the president is corrupt, it is highly unlikely that a country would succeed. When the favorite president of Kenyan, when he talks about him and the change that he's been able to do, is that when you are ahead of something, just like even the father at home, if the father is progressing.
He has a favorite president.
I'm saying the Burkina Faso guy. Yeah, Traore. Yeah, Traore. You get it. But since he's a man of substance, countries like Korea, countries like Singapore, all these countries, the common denominator of countries that have gotten ahead, even the scenario, Putin could be a dictator of sorts. But again, when you look at what Russia has been able to become under Putin, you also see that it matters the capacity of the individual who is president and what he stands for. For example, Putin with the issue of Russia must be a sovereign country that matters in the world's geopolitics. Sometimes you ask yourself when it comes to countries like Kenya, and Kebaso Morara one day asked the questions very well, that does the presidency mean something bigger than yourself or the governorship? When you become one, are you able to rise to the occasion that you are the president of Kenya, isn't it? Apart from giving you money, giving you the ability to accumulate land all over, and to make deals and to turn yourself into a billionaire, does it connote anything beyond that? And I think that's the point that you are making. Now, all that, whatever else the rest of us do, I see Kenyan and my learned colleagues, you see me in court very many times, trying as advocates, the small offices we occupy as advocates, people like Okia Omtata and the doctor from Nakuru, people doing a lot to defend the Constitution. Because the Constitution at the end of the day also needs to be protected, and to be defended, protected, in order that it can defend us. When the Gen Z went to this protest, there is a civic responsibility. There is Article 3.2 of the Constitution that requires every citizen of Kenya to stand up, respect, and defend the Constitution. So that the duty, apart from state actors, it is a duty that also belongs to all of us. Your own media, TV47, media is recognized they are recognized under the Constitution. It also depends what kind of media is TV47. Does it make a contribution to ensure that the Kenyan Constitution and order and good practices and ethos are practiced and to advance them? Because if it doesn't, it would be failing. So that the nation, of course, can go very bad in one sense. But also, its citizens and the very many actors, things can go very wrong. Look at the IG of police. You ask us to mention institutions. DPP is a spectacular failure. There is no doubt about that. The IG of police, it says that he is independent, isn't it? And he will be independent and to take charge of the police force. But apart from personal things like the fight over payroll, where you see he is even disobeying orders, where he is concerned personally, is he in charge of the police in any significant sense? What you see from him is a situation whereby they are all meek surrounding CS Murkomen when he is making political statements that are clearly advancing the political cause of one entity. So when you read the Constitution vis-a-vis what is actually being done by such state officials, one can only be able to say that you are letting the country down. The Attorney General, that's the last one. You also see a situation, the Constitution says, Article 156, he is the ultimate custodian of public interest. But over and over again, the main violator of public interest is very often the president or the executive. But in virtually all those instances, the Attorney General comes to court, and I go to those courts every day. They come to court and always takes the position that is clearly against public interest. So those failures, those are not failures on the part of politicians. These are failures, nothing wrong with the Constitution. The Constitution has said, defend public interest. But can you say, this is one occasion when I defended public interest?
But
You can't say.
Kibe, look at the constricted space that a Kenyan citizen occupies. What can the average Kenyan do when they see a chauffeured president? Like now, this is today's newspaper.